Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Eventful Endeavors. We are here today with Liz Garcia, who is the venue manager at Alta Vista Country Club. So before we get started, because we always ask some of the same questions to everybody, Liz, I want to talk a little bit about kind of your history, where you got started, and just go through that. So you used to actually be a wedding planner, correct?
Yeah, so 10 years ago, had I had a wedding planner come to one of my college courses. And I
Okay.
still, at 19 years old, had no idea what I was going to be doing with my life and didn't know what kind of career I wanted to have. And she came and she spoke for 45 minutes. The topic was hospitality, and that was it. I walked out of that class saying that's exactly what I want to do. I
You
love
wanted to do it.
hospitality, and I was like, there's no question about it. So I started with assisting wedding planners and planning weddings myself and doing all of that. I really wanted to go into it full time, and the venue management seemed like the way to do that. So I ended up being like a venue coordinator at an Orange County venue, and then ended up in sales. And I have no idea how this happened, but I absolutely love sales and marketing. I no longer plan weddings, I no longer coordinate them, and I absolutely love it. So it's been very
Cool.
interesting. I've also worked with like photo booth company, a photographer company. Yeah, just kind of learning everything I possibly can about the wedding industry because I love our industry. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I think that you have to in order to succeed.
I agree. I agree. You have to
Hmm.
really like what you do. Otherwise, it's very obvious to everybody.
Yes.
Um, so how long have you been with Alta Vista?
So I've been here for 4 years.
4 years. Cool.
Hmm.
Now, let me ask you this, because this is a question that sometimes I even get confused by. And I've been working weddings for quite a while. But so wedding planning, venue managing. What's the biggest difference when that happens? Because like sometimes when you're on site, there's a wedding planner and a venue manager. So to you, what's like the biggest
Hmm.
difference? What is that distinction?
That's a great question. So there's a couple things in venues that I think are really rough, and one of those is that we all offer very similar services. We just offer them differently, and
Sure.
we tweak them and customize them and specialize them to our venue, which makes it harder on the clients and our couples to try and navigate through that. Because the venue I worked at previously, I would do the rehearsal, I would line them up for the ceremony. I would make sure that the DJ knows exactly where to go and set up their decor and really follow them through the night up until maybe about dinner. And then all they would be responsible for is like tearing everything down. So I was very hands-on for a like venue coordinator. But the term venue coordinator or venue manager gets tossed around for, and there's not one clear role for it. So a lot of
Right.
venues are saying that there's a venue assistant or a venue manager, but really all that they're there for is to make sure that you don't ruin their walls and that to
Right.
get social media content for their social media. They're not there to help you down the aisle. Or if they are, they're not experienced enough to take care of all the needs that a wedding planner would. So when you hire a wedding coordinator, she's going to make sure you're completely covered. You're not going to run into an instance where your mom walks up to the venue manager, the venue coordinator, and says, I don't know what to do. I can't find my flowers.
Right.
Um, the wedding planner is going to be like, I'm going to take care of that. A venue
Sure.
coordinator is going to go, not my problem. So,
Right. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like, I can take care of it, but it's not going to be in the best way because I don't have the experience of wedding
Sure.
planning.
Sure.
So I think it's really valuable. We actually, what is it, about 2 years ago, started requiring our couples to have a day of coordinator because we
I was
found
going to ask that.
huge,
Yeah.
yeah, huge value in the fact that they need one. So we feel like instead of explaining it to them on why we need them and hope that they and encourage them to get one, We just said, you know what, we know you're going to need one. So we're going to
Right.
require it so that your wedding goes really well and you're happy.
Yeah. And you do need one. I mean, when I got married, I
Hmm.
remember my venue was like, you need a day of coordinator. And I was like, no, I don't. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, I definitely did. And this is before I started doing a lot of weddings. I was like, oh, yeah, it's crazy I ever thought that, you know.
Hmm.
So, yeah, thank you. That was great. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you something. It's like, so you've been doing, so you said you got into this about 10 years ago after you took that class, you kind of started getting into things. So
Hmm.
10 years with weddings and all that stuff. One question I like to ask people that I think is interesting is from when you started till now, what are some like of the biggest differences in the way people are doing their weddings? Like different trends that people maybe used to do and now aren't doing, or used to not do and now everybody's doing. You know, is there anything you can think of that's just really like taken off recently that's like changed the game for a little bit?
Okay, so that's a great question. I would probably say when I jumped into this 10 or so years ago, um, I would be covered in the little needles of burlap all the time.
Right.
So a baby's breath and burlap were just everywhere, and
Everywhere.
lanterns and the rustic look. Um, at this point, I feel like you could show me a wedding from 5 to 10 years ago, and I can tell you it's 5 to 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting that we're not seeing that. I did hear from a florist recently that the baby's breath might be coming back, which I wonder
Uh-oh.
if it's in a different way because it's definitely not coming back the way that it used to be done. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like I appreciate our couples are very, I mean, it's a country club wedding
Yeah.
venue, so we have very classic couples, and our couples are leaning more towards the things that are going to be like timeless. So a lot of
Sure.
pastels, a lot of like whites and soft pinks and those kinds of tones that I appreciate more so. That is, I'm not going to be able to zero in on your wedding year by a few years and tell you exactly when you
Sure.
got married based on your colors.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, things have been, nowadays, I think with TikTok too, I notice a lot of people are changing, like they're seeing something and they're like, oh, that's cool. I want to try that. And, like everything spreads now with social media, you know? So it's been kind of an interesting last couple years. I've seen a lot of weird stuff. So that's always why I ask. Speaking of weird stuff,
Hmm.
one thing I always am curious about is as long as you've done this, is there one moment, let me put it this way. What's the cringiest thing you've ever seen? Or something that you're like, oh, nobody should ever do this at their wedding because I saw this happen once and it was just everybody was uncomfortable. Is there anything that
Okay,
pops in your brain?
so cringiest, I'd probably say this is like personal cringy. This isn't
Sure.
okay, so there has been a toast, I'll say this, by a best man where he just decided that he's going to mention all the ex-girlfriends. That's
Ooh.
no, 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 no. I don't know how many times to say no. So you're just and
Ugh.
the hard part is that was when I was doing wedding coordination. You're just
Oh,
standing there and you're just staring at him and you're like, what do I do with this?
yeah.
Because like everyone in the room is just like, no. And he kept like saying a joke about one and then laughing, but like everyone else is doing that, like, ah, ah. Like it was so uncomfortable. Um, but that
I
was,
don't like that.
but I feel like that's like standard. Like, don't do that. That's not something
Yeah. As the
that you
as the
do.
guy who usually has to be in charge of the sound and microphone,
Yeah.
I'm always like, do I step in here? I don't know. Like, should I
There's
stop
a
this?
line. Yeah. And you're not
Yeah.
really sure when to cross it because you're like, this is going very poorly. But
Yeah.
like, and I have access to the microphone. We can stop this, but is that appropriate?
I
It's
know you
like,
don't want to be like, oh, it's a weird situation. I don't like that.
yeah. Okay, so that one, I feel like that one's pretty straightforward. I have a
Yeah.
personal one that I don't like, and I think it's a very unpopular
Okay.
opinion.
I'm curious. What is it?
I do not like choreographed first dances at all.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
They
I
look
can see that.
so
I mean,
stiff
why?
and structured
Yeah,
and not romantic at all. And it's like a show that they're putting on. So they have like
sure.
two specialty dips where he's like awkwardly leaning her and like I just feel like it's supposed to be like this really sweet moment as like husband and wife that everyone
Yeah.
is experiencing with you, and it turns into like this very structured, choreographed like line of doing
Right.
that. And then you see them like counting numbers, or you see them like telling them like now you spin. And they're like, I'm like, don't be stressed. Like this is supposed to be really
Yeah.
sweet. It's not, oh gosh, not my favorite.
I get that. I get that. I don't hate. I don't think it's that bad, but I do understand where you're coming from. Like I've seen some that are really bad, and then I've seen one or two that I'm like, okay, that was okay. Like there was one couple I had that was like an actual like they were dancers, so they like
Okay.
crushed it. They
Yes.
did like swing
Yes.
dance, and it was awesome. But
Oh
like
my
I've seen the
gosh.
other ones where it's like clearly both of them took a few dance classes and just yeah. I love how you said they were counting. I'm like I've seen that where they're like. It's like this isn't sweet.
No, it's not. And like
Yeah.
maybe that has a time and a place a little bit later on, but I'm also not 100% on board. I've been seeing lately like fa or sorry, the mother-son dances being choreographed and like fun and like hip and cool, and they're doing like fun songs, and I'm like, you're like if you have that relationship with your mom, like that is so fun, and I'm like me personally, I'd be like, that's a very
Yeah.
special moment that you should cherish. But if they're the kind that like want to have a whole ton of fun with it, by all means, I guess. I just wouldn't choose it. That's okay. But that's also
Yeah.
what makes it
Yeah.
their wedding. That like it's
Right.
not my wedding, it's theirs.
Yeah. Mother son dances can be creepy just in general. Like those ones I don't. I don't. They always make like I did mine and I was like, do we want to do this? My mom was like, we have to. It's tradition. I was like, do we? Do we really have to? She's like, yeah. So we literally did it because like you're supposed to. And neither one of us had a great time. It's not like it's a crazy memory. We just talked about how awkward it was the whole time we were dancing. You know.
hmm
So
I
yeah,
actually
that's funny.
I skipped the garter toss at my wedding. I was like, we're not doing this. Where there's no way we're doing
Yeah,
this in front of grandma, in
no,
front of my pastor, or like we're not doing this.
I don't see them too much anymore. I don't see a lot of the
No.
garters. I'll see bouquet tosses, but I'll just do it'll be like a simple like 1, 2, 3, catch it, and then they usually stop. Like I won't do a lot of garters, or if they do, it's
Mhm.
just like throw it, like none of the like go and get it kind of thing. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah,
That seems to have died a little bit.
yeah, when I was more coordinating and more planning, I would like ask couples, are you doing the garter toss? And they're like, I don't know. So I'd be like, maybe let's suggest something else where it's like
Yep.
you can toss the garter, but it was never actually on your wife's leg, like to where you're
Right.
throwing it to a
Yeah.
single man. Like that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Put it on a
Yeah.
football if your venue allows it. But like it's like
Sure.
have
Yeah.
some fun with it, but don't take something off your wife's leg and throw it at a single gentleman. Don't do it.
No, it's a weird thing. And then it
A little
used to
bit.
be, and I haven't seen this in forever, but it used to be then whoever catches it puts it on the girl who catches the bouquet. Have you seen that before? You've never seen
No,
this?
I'm
Yeah, so
horrified.
maybe it's an East Coast thing, which is where I'm originally from, but it used to be whoever catches the garter then has to put the garter on the girl who caught the bouquet. Total strangers, like up the leg. And I'm like, that's what people have done in the past. I'm like, I don't know how that tradition ever was a thing. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that, oh my, ugh.
I've seen
That
that.
would be
I've seen
cringy.
that.
That would be it for me. If I saw that, I'd be like, that's it. That's the
Yeah.
cringiest moment. That's
Yeah, I mean, I
terrible.
lived in the Midwest where they do all kinds of weird shit like that. So I don't even know if we can swear on this podcast. But I just did. You know, so
It's your
I don't.
podcast.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. Speaking of weird things,
No.
and you were talking about like some of the stuff you've seen with like footballs and that kind of stuff. What's the most unique thing you've seen? Is there anything you've seen that sticks out in your mind as like a wow, that was one of the cooler things I've seen at venues. I hadn't really seen that before.
Oh, like I said, we have a lot of like classic couples. I mean, we're smack
Sure.
dab like in the middle of Orange County. So, um,
Yeah.
like I would say a lot of the creative couples end up choosing like an LA venue. So we don't, we see a lot of like classic options. So the things that we're
Sure.
suggesting to our couples are more like um, upping like the classic part of it. So, but I am really loving lately doing more with the seating chart. I think that is fantastic. Or when guests are like coming in, I think first impressions are such a big deal.
Sure.
Um, so I am like loving any kind of specialty like champagne when your guests arrive, whether that's a
Mm.
champagne wall or staff walking up to them with champagne, even personalizing it with something, whether that's in the champagne or a ring around the glass. I think that's like a really special touch that our couples are doing. One I also saw was for the seating chart, the couple was Asian and they did fortune cookies where you broke open your fortune cookie and found and saw what table you were at. I
Oh, that's
have
awesome.
no idea how they did that because they had to have known, they had to have ordered those like a month in advance. They had to have gotten their
Yeah.
RSVPs done quick. But I definitely
Yeah.
appreciated that it was just something like interactive and fun because I think that
Yeah.
that's like guest experience is like at an all-time high. I don't think it was that guest experience was really that big of a deal maybe 10, 20 years ago. But now it's like, what's
Sure.
the more fun things? What can we involve them with? What can they have fun doing?
How can they remember our wedding more than everybody else's wedding?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's really cool. I like the fortune cookies. Yeah, that's the first thing
Hmm.
I would have thought too, is like, how long ago did you get these RSVPs? I didn't know
Yeah.
he was coming to my wedding until like at least a week prior. People were still coming off and dropping in, and we were like, oh, let's invite some more of the B list, you know. So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's why I think when
Anyway,
I, oh,
go ahead.
was so when I attend weddings, it's really funny because a lot of the times, like the bride or groom or one of the parents or something like that will go, Liz, how did we do? Because like I'm attending it.
Right.
So they think that I'm like over analyzing everything. And I'm like, I'm just here to enjoy. It's totally
Yeah.
fine. But it's funny in those circumstances because like when I am at a wedding and enjoying my friends getting married, I'm not thinking about the things that they should have done better. Usually I'm at the wedding and enjoying it, but seeing how much work actually went into it. Like I'll point at a backdrop and like show my husband and be like, you know, that would have taken like 3 hours for them to have like built and it's amazing. And he's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. And I'm like, no, it's like really cool. Or when they do something special with like the seating chart and I'm like, wow, this is like an incredible, they had to have hired like the best like vendor to take care of this. And my husband or something is like, yeah, it's great. I'm like, you don't even know. You don't even know. I'm appreciating it.
Appreciate this more.
Exactly.
Yeah. This
So I feel
took
like I'm a good
time.
wedding
This was a
guest.
smart idea. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Let me ask you this. So, say, what would your number one piece of advice be for anybody who's just starting to plan a wedding? Like, just got engaged. First piece of advice right out the gate: do this.
Okay, so we see a lot of couples that come in and I'm asking them what kind of venues they're taking a look at. Like I said, we're in Orange County. There's a ton of types of venues in our area.
Right.
We have couples that are like looking at country clubs, hotels, industrial spaces. I mean, all different kinds that whether inclusive, non-inclusive. And also, I think it's pretty insane that the first decision that they're needing to make for the wedding is the biggest commitment and the foundation for the entire thing. I think
Hmm.
it's the way it has to be, but making a venue decision means that you're picking a date, you're picking a location and leaning into what that location is providing. So I think that's pretty wild that our couples are expected to do that right off the bat. But something that I always suggest to couples is figure out what your maybe top three most important things are. So, what's important to you guys? Maybe base that off of your families, base it off of previous weddings you've attended. But it's like, okay, so guest experience is a huge thing. We want our guests to be comfortable. We want them having fun. We want them partying. We want to celebrate. Okay,
Right.
so that's a great bullet point. We want it to be really convenient in location because everyone's going to be coming from different places. We need it to be by a hotel. Just kind of come up with things that work for you and then don't vary from that. Don't settle. There's way too many options. You don't have to
Hmm.
settle. Just specifically find a venue, but also just in wedding planning in itself, just know what you're looking for and stick with that. So if later on in planning, let's just say you want your guests to be able to have so much fun and celebrate, and you want to party the night away. then when it comes down to you're looking at the budget and you're saying we can either add an hour to the reception, pay the DJ, pay the venue to do that, go later, or we can have the photographer come early because budgets, like the numbers are there. You can't make up more money. So, right. So,
Right.
when you're
Yeah.
trying to choose an investment and you decided from the beginning that partying the night away was something that was really important to you, then choose that. Um, Another piece of advice is let whoever is more, oh gosh, how do I word this? Whoever finds it to be more important, let them decide. So if the groom could
Between the couple,
go
you mean? Yeah,
between the
between the two
couple,
of them.
definitely between the two of them.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
If mom or dad has to get involved, that's a whole nother thing. But
Leave them out of it.
if like the groom could go either way on the photographer, but the bride feels more comfortable with one over the other, then obviously choose that one. If you guys are debating between what kind of what favor you guys want to do, or if you want to do a photo booth or not, whoever's more leaning towards an opinion towards it, just let them have that one. Like it's your wedding day together. It's not. I did see a wedding sign that said it would be like, "Welcome to Chantel's wedding featuring Trevor." I thought it was so funny.
That is pretty funny. I would get a laugh out of it. I like that.
I thought it was hilarious, but make sure your wedding planning isn't actually that, unless that works for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Unless you're just like, yeah, it's fine. You can have it.
Mm,
It's fine.
mm,
I think that's very fun. I actually had one wedding planner friend of mine once told me something when I was getting married. We were planning our wedding. My wife would be like, "Whoa, do you like this? Do you like that?" And I would say, "I don't care." And the wedding planner heard me once, and she's like, "Stop saying I don't care. Say I have no preference." I was like, "Oh, I
mm.
like that better." Like, because then I don't look like I just don't care. Oh, no preference. I don't care about this, but I did care about the
Hmm.
music. I was like, I need the music to
Oh, I'm
be
sure.
good. Yeah,
Hmm.
especially since that's what I do.
Hmm.
Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about the venue. I've got a bunch of stuff I'd like to know about the venue. I'm sure other people would like to know about the venue. But first things first, you guys recently did like a big remodel, right? I haven't been there since this, I don't think. But talk to me about what you guys did. What's the new vibe of the space?
Yeah, so our last renovation was in 2007, and they did like a whole structural renovation. They touched the offices, they added a secondary event space, they moved some spaces around. I mean, it was like down to the bones. It was
Right.
a mess. I obviously wasn't around for that one. Uh, but this year, 2023, in January, we renovated the whole clubhouse, but we did it all cosmetically. We had 5 weeks in between
Wow.
weddings from Christmas Day to I think it was like February 1st or something like that.
Was that intentional, or you just happened to not have anything booked and you were like, let's make this happen?
No, we did plan it that way
Okay.
to not have anything in the ballroom during those weeks,
Cool.
and then we had to move some tournaments around to make it happen. But I mean, we
Sure.
had like a very strict timeline, and it was like on Saturday at 5 p.m. There's no, and I'm like a stickler. There is no world where I call any client of mine and say, we are not where we need to be. It's not happening. So I was like, that's just not going to happen. So I believe that they told us 4 weeks. I'm like, there's no way I'm doing 5. They obviously needed 5. But I mean, every light fixture in the clubhouse was swapped out and everything was needed, which is
Sure.
pretty, like nothing had been touched in 2007 and it looked like it. And everything had been painted over and over and over. So we obviously did paint for everything, new carpet for everything, light fixtures, really new furniture. We really brought it back to life, which is fantastic because I think that we were pretty capped out what we were currently doing. There
Right.
was nothing, no bigger or better that we could go. We were capping ourselves on that. So we are actually privately owned and managed by the Chapman and Kramer families of Orange County. They own quite a few things in our area, and they are absolutely fantastic. They 100% jumped in and supported this huge request of ours to do a big renovation. And we made it happen. And our couples that booked prior to that got to take advantage of a new space, and everyone was really excited. And we wanted to make sure that we stuck with the integrity of the country club. We didn't want to obviously go off the rails, but it was a
Sure.
really exciting, intimidating, but exciting project to take on and to make happen. And we had a great designer on our team to manage the whole thing too.
Great. Yeah,
Hmm.
I want to come down and see it at some point. I bet it looks
Yeah.
fantastic.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We brought it to this
So I've got
decade.
yeah. So I've got a few things here, just kind of more like rapid fiery kind of stuff that I'm just, people might be curious about. So, how far out are you guys booked? Is your availability kind of done for next year? Do you have a lot of open availabilities? Mostly weekends, obviously, or like how far out are you guys booked?
Yeah, so we are seeing a little change on that one, and that couples are booking really late right now. So just to make
Like
us, I
last
think,
minute late, or they're booking far in the future?
sorry, they're booking last minute. So we actually, I
Classic.
think, I just had two couples book 4 months out, and they are, I mean, I'm talking like they're not even phased by it. They're like, we have 4 months. And I'm like, you have 4 months.
I had 2 years, and I was like
2 years?
stressed. Yeah, well, we pushed because of COVID, but that was stressful.
Oh,
I was like,
COVID. Yeah,
yeah,
that would do
but
it.
still, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of last
So
minute
you still have
bookings.
open dates?
Yeah, we do, like fall 2023, or sorry, fall 2024,
Okay,
obviously. Um, Give me a
great,
call because we can make it happen.
cool, love that.
Hmm.
What's your guest count? What's your capacity?
We can go up to 250, and I say that's very comfortable. We're actually allowed to go more than that, but we don't let our couples do that because we want it to be comfortable.
And
Hmm.
you guys have in-house catering, yeah?
We do, yeah. So our executive
Cool.
chef has been here 17 years. Everything that comes out of the kitchen is delicious, but we also
Cool.
allow couples to do outside catering if it's for any like cultural reasons.
Oh, okay. So is there
Hmm.
anything else that's in-house? I'm guessing bar service is also in-house as well, or is that something that they have to bring from outside?
Nope, we have a huge bar here with all the alcohol. We definitely make sure they have
Great.
all the options the rest available to that.
Cool. I love it. Do you guys have like a lot of vendors that you use, like a preferred vendors list that you give all your couples for like DJs and photo and all that fun stuff?
We do. So two of three of our reception packages already includes some of the florals and also the wedding cake that we work with some vendors around the area.
Cool.
We have a photo booth vendor that we work with, and then everyone else, we just it's some of our favorite people on the list, but couples are more than welcome to bring in someone else if they'd like, of course.
Oh, great. Do you guys have like a bridal suite or anything, or anywhere where they can change on site?
Yeah, so we have a bridal suite, which is fantastic. That's actually truly a bridal suite. It's not like a room that we've switched into a bridal suite. And
Sure.
then something that we're able to offer that I'm excited for is that we actually have a groom's room as well, which I feel is important.
No.
A spot for the grooms. I feel like we have couples come in all the time that are like, "You have somewhere where I can go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
I
What?
was in a
Of course.
trailer, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, like it's your day too. Like you need a space and you need to be able to hide from guests and it can't and you need somewhere to put your jacket. Like what are you gonna do with your jacket?
Love it. Love it. And
Hmm.
then this one I always ask because just I'm always just curious. I've been to venues like in downtown LA where it's mayhem. Do you guys have like free parking, valet parking? What's the situation there?
That's a really good question. We have all open parking right in front of the clubhouse. Couldn't be easier for your guests and couldn't be
Easy.
plenty more plenty. Like we have a ton of parking. I'm very
Cool.
favorable to that.
Cool. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, that's basically all I can think of that I really wanted to talk about. Is there anything else you want to like mention, say before we head out? Anything about the venue that maybe is unique that we didn't cover that you want to give a shout out to? Something you're happy about, excited about?
Oh, I would say if there was one thing that I think makes us stand out over some other venues is that when I said earlier that I love the wedding industry, I chose the wedding industry. I chose this industry. I love it. I think that there's a lot of maybe venue managers that kind of just ended up here somehow, whether that being because of sales, that their background in sales, or maybe it was weddings, but they kind of just lost interest at one point. I'm really proud of the staff that we have, that we all truly want it to be the best day for you. We invest a lot of time into making that, and I know that that shows to our couples and our efforts and the way we communicate. We're always staying on top with our clients. Our communication, I would say, is top notch. I think that's just like really important. And I tell this to my husband all the time. I'm like, I don't understand, because I feel like I'm doing the bare minimum of my job, and I have couples that are telling me that this is above and beyond. Like, no, we should all be stepping up and helping
Right.
them in any way that we can. We're the ones with the experience, so why would we not help them along the way? Um, and I think that's really important. So all of our staff, we love what we do. And although, yes, it is just Saturday to us, and it's just Friday to us, because we had an event yesterday, we have one tomorrow. It's another event, but it's not. It's your day, and we want it to make sure that you know that we care to make this the best day for you and your family, because these are the memories that you're going to build. So I think that's just like really important. And I think that's very like not being thought of with venues right now. And I want to, if there's something I could communicate to all the venues, it's kind of step it up, like make sure that
Yeah.
you're you're being kind and you're being hospitable. We chose the hospitality industry as well, so we need to make sure that we're doing that. And I love that our staff is. It's really important to them to make sure that clients are taken care of.
I'm glad you said that, because as a vendor, I can tell you I've worked many a venue where that is not the vibe I get from the venue managers. So, and you can tell when you're with people that like what they're doing. It creates a better overall vibe for everybody who works the wedding and everybody who
Mhm.
attends it. So,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
said that. I think that's great. I think that's the most
Mm.
important thing. So, anyway, Liz, thank you. Thank you for doing this. I hope we'll shout out and link to all of your stuff here in the podcast so people can find you. Check out the country club. Go see it. If you're planning a wedding, get in touch with Liz. We'll link to all your contact as well. And yeah, you have a great rest of your day. All right.
Thank you, Shawn. It was great chatting with you. All
Thank you.
right, bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.